Joining me now is Environment and Water Minister Tanya Plibersek. Minister, thanks for coming on the program. Good to see you.
Good morning, Kenny.
So, will we hear from the Prime Minister today? Why are we not getting... why this late afternoon statement from a spokesperson? Why won't the Prime Minister come out and speak to the media?
Oh, look, I'm sure the Prime Minister will be fronting the media all the time from now on. I don't know what he's doing, I don't know what he's up to today, but he's been completely transparent up till now. He's been doing press conference after press conference this week, and no doubt he'll be doing press conference after press conference in coming days. What these press conferences have demonstrated is that he's been completely transparent and reported any upgrades that he's received, and that's a real contrast to Bridget McKenzie, we find today, who apparently hasn't been declaring upgrades, despite the fact that she's the Transport Shadow Minister.
The statement didn't specify whether Anthony Albanese sought upgrades through any other contact at Qantas or the private number that the Prime Minister was speaking of. If a Transport Minister were to solicit free upgrades from the national carrier through a senior executive of the airline, would that be in breach of ethics and the Ministerial Code of Conduct?
Look, I'm not going to get into all sorts of hypotheticals like this, but what I would say
it's not a hypothetical, though. This is what the allegations are.
Well, it is. What I would say is when Qantas has done the wrong thing by consumers or by its workforce, we've been the first to stand up and criticise that. We've been on the side of the workforce when Qantas has been laying off workers despite receiving massive amounts of JobKeeper. I've been at rallies with their workforce when they've had layoffs. We've also introduced same job, same pay legislation.
OK, but my question is, would it be a breach of the Ministerial Code of Conduct?
Because they want to underpay part of their workforce. Well, look, I don't know. I'm not going to answer hypotheticals.
OK, all right.
I'm not going to answer hypotheticals. Yeah.
OK. Indigenous leaders are saying the government doesn't listen to them after you used an unknown dreaming story to stop a gold mine going ahead in Blayney. Did your decision to block the Blayney gold mine tailings dam rely on a false, made-up story?
You've actually made three mistakes in that sentence. The first thing is I haven't blocked a gold mine. I've said that the tailings dam that's proposed for the gold mine can't be built on the headwaters and springs of the Belubula River. My decision applies to 16% of a 2,500 hectare site, and I've made very clear that if the company goes ahead and moves the tailings dam, and they've said they've investigated 30 different design options for the tailings dam, then the project can go ahead.
But they've said it's been unviable. That's been widely reported.
In fact, on Friday, they said that the project is still looking viable, and the CEO of the company and the chair of the board have bought thousands of extra shares. And last time I checked, the share price was up by 55%. So I'm not sure that you can really say it's looking that unviable. In addition to that, I had about 2,500 pages of evidence before me. It included, a whole range of evidence from the Wiradjuri Traditional Owners Central West Aboriginal Corporation, which is the same group of people that Susan Ley listened to when she made a very similar decision just down the road from the Blayney gold mine. And she was advised, as I was advised, that they're the correct group of traditional owners to listen to for this country. OK, well, the Aboriginal land councils are quite angry about this. For the sake of repairing the relationship with the Aboriginal land councils, are you willing to admit that you got this one wrong? No, because I listened to the appropriate group of people and I made an appropriate decision based on an enormous amount of evidence before me. I listened to the same group of people that the then Environment Minister, now Deputy Leader of the Liberal Party, Susan Ley, listened to when she made a similar decision just down the road. It is no surprise, Kenny, that not every Aboriginal person agrees with every other Aboriginal person, right? That's no surprise. What I've done is listen to the appropriate group for this local area, the same group that Susan Ley listened to when she made a very similar decision a few years ago based on advice, same sort of advice from the department that this is the right group of people to
in this meeting, in this meeting, the Orange of the New South...
Kenny, just one minute. The Orange Local Aboriginal Land Council and the Wellington Valley group were also consulted. We had multiple rounds of procedural fairness where the information that I was presented was tested with other groups, including the mining company, including other community organisations, including other Aboriginal groups. The idea that these projects are contested, that there are different points of view, is no surprise. It is no surprise that not every Aboriginal person agrees with every other Aboriginal person.
Okay, the Chief Executive of the Orange Aboriginal Land Council...
No, let me...
We've just got limited time, but
it'd be great if you let me say that this, in the local community there, there's also multiple views in the local community where a number of farming groups in particular have been very concerned about the potential impacts on the Belubula River and down into the Carcoar Dam. It is really important to take all of the advice into account. And what Peter Dutton's been saying is he would ignore all
Can I
of the
just say
advice
that the Chief Executive of the Orange Aboriginal Land Council, Annette Steele, says the woman leading the opposition to the mine was a former employee of the Land Council who during her employment did not identify as Indigenous, and says the woman's claims to the Land Council were false, including that she spoke to elders who claimed that the site of the tailings dam impeded on Aboriginal land. So again, you know, is this decision based on false information?
No.
And are you... So you also have another decision that's coming up with a new second gold mine in the Blayney area.
I've got many, many decisions coming up.
Yeah, so will you be talking to...
I've got a whole pipeline, yeah.
OK, so when will we get a decision on that second mine and its tailings dam?
Yeah, when I've had a chance to look at all the information before me. I've approved more than 40 mining projects since becoming the Environment Minister. I've doubled the rate of on-time approvals. But the idea that just because a mining company wants to do something, that it's going to get an automatic tick and flick, that's not in anybody's interests. We need to make sure, yes, that we are supporting jobs and industry in this country, but we also need to make sure that our environment's going to be there for our kids and grandkids to enjoy, that we're protecting our heritage at the same time. And I think that most ordinary Australians see that as a perfectly reasonable position, that when a big company wants to do a project, we need to make sure that it's in the broadest public interest. And that means in the interests of society, of the economy, but also that it's done in a way that protects our precious environment.
OK, Tanya Plibersek, appreciate you coming on the program this morning. Thanks very much.